Hello, everybody, and welcome to the TARDIS Zone. This is the TARDIS Zone Talks, and I hope you're all doing very well indeed, because I know half of the world is celebrating today, because last night, the impossible for the left, because they didn't envision seeing Donald Trump actually win the 2024 general election. Of course, when he did decide and announced that he was running again, I remember putting up a tweet at the time saying he would win by a massive landslide. And then, of course, we all seen what happened in the last couple of months, attempts on his life, which propelled him even further with the American people. Not only does it look like he's won the popular vote, he's gotten, obviously, the electoral votes that he needs, but it looks like this is going to be absolutely devastating for the Democrats. It also looks like that he might take hold of the Senate and the House of Representatives. So a clean sweep across the board. Now, the left today are absolutely in meltdown, as you would imagine. Of course, we have to spare some thoughts for the people out there. Obviously, my wife is not in the best of form today because she genuinely thought that the Democrats were going to win out. But it didn't transpire that way. And I think the American people, if you look, because I watched the election, I didn't go to bed till 8 o'clock this morning. I was looking at all the analysis as well, breaking down the demographics of the people that voted for him. The Latino vote and the young black man vote pushed them over the edge. So for all of the people out there, the lefty morons, and especially using the Doctor Who fandom that were all mounting yesterday, the bottom line is this narrative that he's racist, this narrative that, you know, he committed all of these so-called crimes and all of this never happened. The people of America have seen exactly through the leftist agenda. The bottom line is there was a witch hunt on this man. They tried to take him out twice, okay? And he won yesterday in probably the most historical comeback. That's the way the media are framing it, that it's the biggest political comeback that they've ever seen. And that is absolutely correct, because after all they put him through for the last 4 years, could anybody envision, except obviously us, but did the people out there that were sitting on the fence think that he would actually get re-elected? No, they thought that there was no hope. But last night, listen, loads of people were even saying to me, sure, we won't find out the result until a couple of days like the last time. I knew very early on, by 2 a.m. this morning, Irish time, I knew he had it wrapped up. It was a sensational victory. I think the American people saw through the lies of the Democrats, and finally they fucking woken up. So the next 4 years, yes, while the left are all gutted now and they're devastated, the next 4 years, I do believe, are going to be the best 4 years that anybody has had on this planet, because he will end the conflicts. He will do what he says he's going to do, because he'll want to go out now. This is his only term now. He can't run again. So he'll want to leave a legacy. Now, obviously, this election result will put him in the history books of folklore and stuff, but he'll want to actually cement his legacy. So he will do the things that he said he's going to do, or he'll attempt to do it. And now that it looks like he might have control of the two houses as well, he may well do everything that he says. Obviously, it's bad news for the people in the UK and people here in the Republic of Ireland. I say bad news for us, but it's not really bad news for us, but it is bad news for the governments of those countries, because he is going to encourage American companies, American, as I said, to come back to America. So, Ireland and stuff like that, even Bertie Ahern was saying, this could damage Ireland's surplus budget and all of this. Of course it will, but that's what we want to happen. That's why we're delighted that Donald Trump got in, because now you bastards don't have the money now to buy the Irish voter off now, because you are going to be fucking stuck for money now, because Trump is going to do everything that he said he's going to do. So it can only be good for the people of Europe and the people of our country. But for the elites, for the deep state, this was a devastating defeat. And trust me, they are reeling today. They are reeling today. Now, I'm just going to say this and just going to put it out there. From now until he actually gets into that Oval Office, he should be protected at all fucking costs, because this is not the end, folks. Trust me, there will be something, right? There will be something to try and stop him from becoming president, inaugurated. I'm telling you now. That's how sick that country is, and that's how brainwashed the left, the media, and the establishment have done to their people. It's absolutely disgusting. So for me, this is a great result. It sends shockwaves. Even our Irish government, I'm on, and 1 minute you're complaining about them, now they're all coming out pretending that it'll be an honour to work with him. But he's going to absolutely put them all in their place. And this bodes well for the people in the UK and Ireland as well. Okay, and all the people in the UK recently had an election, right? And it didn't go the way you wanted. And our country right now is being absolutely destroyed by Labour. But don't worry, Trumpster is here to save us all, not just the American people, because his international policies now will actually put our governments on the back foot. Also, he will do everything in his power to prevent Europe from getting rid of X, because, Europe are attempting to silence Elon Musk, but Donald Trump being in the White House now will prevent any of this from happening. And you'll see all the WEF shills. We have a few in Ireland, absolutely devastating and crying tonight because of what's happened. But look, that's all I'm going to say on this general election, okay? I just wanted to say a few words, because it is a big moment in political, in American political history, but in world history as well, because I do believe that he will do good, and you will see the world over the next 4 years. It will be a better and kinder place. Now, let's hope he does a good enough job that maybe J.D. Vance or whoever is going to be running for the Republicans in 4 years' time. Hopefully he leads. Hopefully he puts the foundations down for them now, that the Republicans can rule for a while, because I think we've all had enough of the Democrats, and I don't think we want to see the Democrats in the US in power again for a very, very long time. So this is his moment. This is the American people. He's chose, he's our man. He won fair and square. The fact that that woman has gone missing and she hasn't even conceded because she's a fucking moron just shows you that she's a bitter old hag, and that's the type of president that you would have got with her. And I can guarantee you, with next year, we would have been all part of World War III, because that woman would have dragged us into World War III. Thank fuck the Democrats are finally out of there, and we can move forward now. Yeah, the Diddy-crats. Yeah, the Diddy-crats is absolutely fucking right. And by the way, just on one final thing, I think the Democrats now have shown that celebrity endorsements don't work, and I think the American people have seen right through all of these. So I think this election might put an end to all of this so-called celebrity endorsements. People that don't have a clue of what they're fucking saying, but are asked by the people that are in charge to speak on behalf of these fucking gobshites, right? You have pop stars, musicians, whatever you actors, actresses. You have no business talking about politics. You have no business of sticking your nose in because you live in your own little bubble. So for all the celebrities out there that said they were going to jump off cliffs, set themselves on fire and leave America, keep your promise, okay? Keep your promise, because the bottom line is for the last few years, people have had to listen to you bastards moan all the time, go after this man, right, without any consequence, right? Now, I hope, really, I'll say this out straight, I hope he does come after some of these people. I really do. Some people say he shouldn't. He should just concentrate on the job. Yeah, concentrate on the job. But take these bastards down that took you down, that tried to take you down, that put your life in danger, right? As soon as that bullet left that rifle, it was game over, right? The Democrats spent the last couple of weeks and months trying to gaslight the American people to make them forget what they tried to do to them. But unfortunately, they lost, and that's it. We got President Trump now coming in January, so we've got something to fucking look forward to, guys. The next 4 years are going to be very interesting, of course, but it's going to be nice to see the left on the back foot at least for 4 years and to get their comeuppance, because some of them out there definitely deserve it. But that's all I'm going to say on it. Congratulations to the American people. Congratulations to President Trump and all your family. And we look forward to see what you do in the next 4 years. And as someone in the chat said, someone go and check on Sylvester McCoy and the Tennants and all the other gobshites in the Doctor Who fandom who came out with the same narrative as the lefty twats in the US did about Donald Trump. Make sure that they're all right. And by the way, if some of them said that they're leaving the country and all that, make sure, right? And I say this to all Americans, all those celebrities that said that that you are leaving, go onto their social medias and make sure that they do leave. Make sure they pack their fucking bags, the little traitors, and they're thrown out of your fucking country and they fucking leave like they said they were going to leave. You don't need anti-American people in your country. Just like we don't need anti-Irish people in their country or anti-British people in our country, the people that are listening to me from the UK. It's about time that you all stand up now and be counted. And in the US, the American people did, and the Irish people have to do the same now for this general election. You have a chance to make history in this country. You have a chance to actually do something with the establishment here. Make your vote count. If anything, this American election has showed us that voting can still fucking work, though, right? After what happened 4 years ago, for him to come back the way he did and to win the way he did proves that democracy can fucking work, right? If you get enough people out there to vote, it's too big to fucking steal. It's too big to fucking rig, right? We need to do the same in Ireland. And the next general election that you have in the UK, you need to fucking get out there and vote. Okay, low voter turnout in the UK and Ireland. You need to get up off your arses and fucking vote and make it fucking count. Anyway, enough on that. The Doctor Who. Anyway, the latest fan rumor is that the Timeless Child nonsense is the return for season 2. It's a fan rumor. Real Super Doctor put a video in the chat, so this is why we're talking about it. But of course, I'm not here on my own. I've got me 2 regular panelists with me. We'll be going for about an hour anyway, so we'll keep it short and sweet because, as I said, I'm a bit in the bad books today. So you know, don't even get. Do you know what? I just can't even do this shit for 4 years now. To be honest with you, just some fucking hate talking politics when fucking, you know, you can't talk politics with someone that has different beliefs than you. You know, it just doesn't fucking work. So you know what I mean. The only reason why I'm talking about it now because she's not fucking here. But there you go. What can you do? Yeah. So this Timeless Child nonsense is coming back, and I'm not here on my own. As I said, I've got 2 panelists joining me, and I want to get their opinion on it. But here's my opinion. It's going to be short and sweet. If he does this, brings back the Timeless Children, the show is already dead anyway, right? But he brings this back again, right, after what Chibs did, then it's the final nail in the coffin. This show won't actually ever recover again. This timeless child nonsense has been the biggest upset in the fandom in a long, long time. It does so much to canon. It destroys this bullshit, but it looks like RTD may be pushing this bull. So let's bring on my guests. Of course, our first guest is the one and only PD Rich.
Hey, no, I've come back. I've come back to make sci-fi great again, and everything else is fake news.
That's it.
Long live Donald Trump, yeah. How are you, my friend? Oh, you've gone off. There you are, you're back.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. And I'm West for the last 4 years. Honestly, we were. The rest of us around the world were laughing at you because you were buying into this fucking democratic narrative and you were falling for it. But you know what? Last night you made me proud. Last night you showed that you have had enough and that you hadn't buying the bullshit anymore. He's even won the popular vote. I mean, this man couldn't even win a popular vote. Right? He's won the popular vote, like, not just the electoral votes that he needed. He won the popular vote. Like, he's more likable than Kamala Harris, wherever her fucking name is.
Know.
That tells you everything.
I watched the whole thing.
So did I. Up till 8 o'clock this morning, man. It was fucking deadly, man.
I dozed off about then as well. I literally watched loads of things for a couple of hours and on GB News and watched GB News footage until about 8 in the morning.
I love it. I wish Irish politics and UK politics were as exciting, but unfortunately, our elections are fucking boring. Anyway,
that was exciting, mate, because did you see like Tories getting kicked out left, right, and centre? It was like a slaughterhouse.
Yeah, I say you regret that now because of Labour.
I didn't vote Labour.
Listen, you got fucked over big time because I even said it at the time. I mean, the Tories are not great, and neither is Labour. And for the British, it was like pick the lesser of the two evils. But whether you like it or not, the lesser of the two evils were the Tories, not Labour. So, but there you go. That's what happens. Cinnamon is here, of course.
I'm not. I don't describe myself as a sort of vindictive person or a bitter person or someone who likes to enjoy suffering of others. But like, I'm not being funny. But when like these people are so fickle, I was Russell, of course, as you can imagine, of course, posted something about years and years, and isn't he like everyone in the comments is like either A, panicking with like shaking dread and fear, like the way some people are behaving, like the general. Oh, I'm so scared. Scared of what? Like actually
the future, the undergoing country.
But this is the thing. This is the Democrats, the left all over. Hold on, put me mic back in. Hold on, just give me a second, because the mic is better. Yeah, probably can. Right, but here's the thing. Right, they've lost now, so they're coming out with all this fear, saying that he's going to do this, do that, and do the other. If you listen to his speech last night, it
was amazing. You're right, no? You still there, Cinnamon?
I'm still here.
Oh yeah. Wait for Noel to come back.
Clear that this was a time for unity. It was time for the street.
Exactly.
As I said, they think it's all doom and gloom, right? It's not going to be all doom and gloom. The bottom line is, what's doom and gloom about having no wars for the next 4 years? Nothing. Good. What's doom and gloom about, not believing this man-made climate change,
recovering the economy, etc.
Listen, the reason why the left and the elites are all upset today is because they're all cons, like the man-made climate, this trans cult and all of this, because remember, all of these things are making billions, right? They're making a lot of money. It's very profitable, right? Donald Trump is going to put an end to that, and they don't want to lose the gravy train, and this is the only reason why they have a problem with Donald Trump being president again, because the gravy train is about to stop. Even Zelensky has come out straight away.
Yeah.
Straight away when he knew, I can't wait to work with Donald Trump. His whole narrative has fucking changed. He knows he's not getting any more money, and he knows he's not getting any more money. And this is a good thing, by the way, folks. It is a good thing. He will sort Russia and Ukraine out. He will sort out Israel and all of that shit that's happening over there in Gaza. He'll sort it out. And you know what? If any lefty out there thinks that that's a negative thing, well, then go and live in North Korea or something. Go and live in a place where they terrorize their people and they starve their people to death. Because I'm telling you now, right? I don't want any more wars. Nobody in the chat wants any more wars. We want fucking peace, right? We want peace.
Some
we want a
prosperity.
better life. And he's going to deliver. I know he is this time. Because as I said, this is his only term. Right, all of this other narrative that he's going to change, that he's going to change the constitution so he can keep running. Donald Trump won't run again in 4 years' time.
That'd be too
He didn't
tired.
even run.
It's not the Emperor. It's not Palpatine, for God's sake, is it? I mean, come on.
And the thing about it is,
he
well,
is.
that's the thing. What will he be? 80 something in 4 years' time. Listen, for the last few years of his life, he's going to want to relax and chill out. He didn't even want to run in 2024. He had no choice after they came after him to stop him from running. And he said, you know what? Well, if they're going to try stop me, even though I was considering not running, I'm going to run. I'm going to put my neck on the line. And he took a bullet. He took a bullet, right?
Yeah.
So look, this is it now. Next 4 years, I'm looking forward to it, right? All I'll say is everybody on the so-called right air side, right? Have your gloating moments today. Enjoy it and celebrate it, right?
Yeah. We lost your mic again.
We've got to fucking keep our game going. We've got to keep the narrative going in our own countries here, right? Because if it can happen in America, it can happen here in Ireland. So the Irish people, well, I don't want to talk politics on here. I didn't want to talk politics, but this is a big moment in history, I think, in political history. I do. And I could not address it. But look,
greatest comeback since Lazarus, isn't it?
Listen, this is
Jesus hasn't come back yet.
Look, for me, it wasn't right because when he announced he was running, I actually said that day that he'll win by landslide. This was even before a bullet was fired, right? I just had a feeling that he was going to win, that the American people would eventually cop on to all the rhetoric of the delay. They had to. At some stage, the American people had to wake up and wise up to what was going on. And I don't think the Democrats over the last couple of months especially have helped themselves. And I don't think she helped herself when she ousted Senile Joe. Now, whether people agree with her ousting Senile Joe, I'm going to say something controversial here, right? If President Biden had been on the ticket last night, Donald Trump wouldn't have won by a landslide. It'd be a lot closer. He would have won, but he wouldn't have won by a landslide. He wouldn't have won by the margin that he's won by. Kamala Harris is just an unlikable person. People saw her on TV lie. Her interview, she couldn't listen. We give her about Senile Joe not being able to put a sentence together. This woman, is not senile, and she couldn't put a sentence to fucking get her. And she sounded like she was drunk half of the time. Yeah, to be quite honest with you, I think she has a
little bit like Richie, wasn't she? No one actually voted for her. No one actually wanted her as a pick. No one, she just sort of fell into it.
Nobody wanted her. What should have happened was if Joe Biden himself knew that he couldn't run for another term, then what should have happened is he should have called a primary. The Democrats should have had a primary and given Kamala could have put her name in the hat, but he would have had the other Democrats in the hat as well. But he didn't do that. Kamala decided she wanted it for herself, and this is the result. The Democrats have only themselves to blame, right? They ate themselves up because they thought that Joe wasn't good enough. And yes, he wasn't good enough. But the bottom line is, right, I don't like the man. I've never defended the man. You know that I can't stand him. I think he should be locked up, quite honestly. But what they did to him was wrong. I don't care what you say. What they did to him was wrong. And I think the American people saw that as well. I think they saw right through that, right? You don't do that to a sitting president. You just don't. It was like they talk about insurrection. They talk about a coup. That's exactly what happened with the Democratic Party. There was a coup. And they removed Joe Biden, right? So it's
look, Joe turned on them.
Can't wait for 4 years of Trump and hopefully 4 years of JD Vance and then maybe another 4 years of JD Vance, maybe, hopefully. But we need Republicans now to seal the deal now for the next 12 years at least because it's going to take. Listen, it's not going to. Donald Trump will get a lot done in 4 years, but the damage that's been done to the world and America is going to take a few decades. So we need Republicans in there as much as possible to make change and to make things the world a better place. And that's why I wanted Donald Trump, right? I want the world to be a better place, and I believe under him.
Exactly what I want.
And I believe under him, he will try his best to make the world a better place. And I do believe him when he says he won't cause any new wars. He will try end the wars. And if anybody deserves a Nobel Peace Prize, it was him and not President Obama who won a Nobel Peace Prize, even though he drowned the fuck out of places for the whole entirety of his presidency.
Yeah,
you know, a man that was hailed as the black savior, who actually hated black people and actually was the one responsible for the division in America in the first place. If you want to go back to why America was divided and how it's been horrible ever since then, it wasn't Donald Trump, it was President Obama. He was responsible. Right.
It's funny as well, because I noticed something. The ever giving gift that is Joy Reid. She mentioned something. Yeah, on I think it's MSNBC or some whatever crappy stations. They had like a little feature as they were all sort of dissecting it, and they had, of course, the typical orange man bad, he's Hitler, this, fascist, Project 2025, whatever that is. And they had him and Mussolini and Stalin and Hitler, and some other. And they basically had all these people on the screen saying they were fascists, which is funny because the one person they had on the screen was actually a communist, which I feel like that's a bit, I don't know, you might want to check that one, but it's just the irony of it all. It's like they're really not taking it very well.
No, but look, they're going to be, for the next few weeks now, they're going to be insufferable. Up until the inauguration, they're going to be insufferable, right? And then for the next 4 years, it's predictable. Right, they're going to do what they did in his first term of office. Any decision he makes, anything that he does will be scrutinised by them, and it'll be unfair. You know what I mean? It won't be proper, scrutinisation of a political person. It's personal to them. Right? They don't see Donald Trump President of the United States. They see Donald Trump the things that he's to be accused of being doing, the felon, this. That's what they see Donald Trump as. So Donald Trump just, if he delivers on everything that he does, he did say one thing interesting, or someone said something interesting last night, which is absolutely spot on. If he does the things that he says that he does, it will bring Democrats and Republicans together.
Yeah.
Because there's some Democrats out there that actually, while they won't publicly come out and say they agree with Donald Trump, but when he was in the first time, that's exactly what happened. Democrats and Republicans start working together, and some of the hardline Democrats and hardline Republicans didn't like that, and that's when all the mud started to get thrown about and all the allegations. So he knows once he delivers on what he says, if he can lower taxes, bring down inflation, the Democrats will have no leg room. They will have to work with him, and he could turn it very easy now, because remember, as I said, he'll have control of both houses as well, right? So if they don't, if they don't play ball, I'm sure he could just turn the American people on them even more. Listen, by the time the next election comes around, right, if we're talking about a landslide now, can you imagine what it'll be like in 4 years' time if Trump delivers, and then it transpires that the Democrats try to hinder him all the way, because that's what they're going to try and do. They want to make this man look bad. Even now, they will try and sabotage this man. And that's all the American people need to know about the Democrats. They're willing to sabotage you, make you poorer, and sabotage your president, right? And sabotage your better life because they don't like him. Think about that. That's what this is all about, right? They just don't
power
like
grab. It's an insane international power grab.
Yeah. Anyway,
Russell really needs to get over his echo chamber, because even if he was in comments, he's just going to block people. I mean,
let's move on to the because we spent a half an hour on this. We're leaving it there.
Oh, can I just say something quick about Sylvester?
Yeah, go on. What on Sylvester?
Mate, Sylv, I like you, but doesn't the Doctor not interfere in certain affairs on certain planets? Don't the Time Lords
No,
prohibit
but his
it?
comment. But hold on,
But we may as well talk about it because we were going to anyway.
Not interfere.
Hold on for a minute, lads.
Go on,
Lads, hold on for a minute. There's one thing about Sylvester McCoy's comment that I find actually ironic, right? When he said that the Doctor wasn't anything like Donald Trump. Well, you're absolutely right, Sylvester, because the Doctor destroys worlds. Because the Doctor destroys worlds and has caused genocide. So has Donald Trump?
Anyway, yeah.
Okay.
As far as he knew, he thought he wiped out his own planet.
As I said to you before, you old has-been, right? Listen up, and you are an old has-been. Listen up, okay? And to every actor and actress out there and every other fucking celebrity that has spoken up over the last 8 years, listen up. Your opinion is irrelevant. Nobody wants to hear your opinion, right? You're paid to act or whatever field you're in. Stick to that. If not, shut your fucking mouth. Nobody wants to hear you for the next 4 years, okay? We don't all have the luxury of living in the bubbles that you motherfuckers live in. We live in the real world. You live in celebrity world. You don't have to worry about the price of a bottle of milk or how you're going to feed your kids or send them to school, right? You have no fucking inclination what any of us go through. So I say this with the sincerest fucking way possible. Shut the fuck up. Mind your own business. And for all of you celebrities that saying you're going to do this, that, and the other, give it over. We know you're not going to do anything. We know you aren't going to leave America. We know you aren't going to jump off cliffs and all of that. So just shut the fuck up, okay? Have you a meltdown, have you a little cry, and then get over it. Okay, we got over it when Biden fucking got in. I wasn't one of those that kept saying the election was rigged. I got over it. Okay, like a lot of people, we just got on with it. We knew that the next 4 years were going to be horrible, and we were right anyway. Okay, but we got on with it, and we'll get on with it this time as well. There's no point of going out getting revenge on these people. There's no point of doing this, that, and the other, being petty and stooping down to their level. Right, he fucking won. That's the victory right there. The fact that it's a landslide and he's controlled, that's all the fuck you that yous all need. So shut up. Nobody wants to hear from yous again. Stick to what yous do or get the fuck out of public life, okay? Because we're all sick of you. And that goes for the tenants. That goes for Mr. Tardis, Therese, and all these other little motherfuckers out there in the Doctor Who fandom that were going, Donald Trump's this, Donald Trump that, bad this and bad that. Shut your mouth, mind your own business, and stick to what you fucking know.
I mean, just be a normal, decent human being. Make your own opinion. Why do you have to listen to somebody else? Like, oh, well, because he's this, or he's a rock star, or something, or he's a musician, or listen to what Taylor Swift's saying, because she knows what she's talking about, right? No, she's a person.
Guys, I'm sorry this has gotten into a bit of a Donald Trump chat.
Well, I was going to mention Sylvester anyway, because he's Doctor Who related, and I wanted to bring it up anyway, because I'm sorry, but like, I don't know the bloke personally, but I've met him. He seemed nice to me. I think he's a nice chap.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I'm not being funny.
Nah, he's a sellout.
They're not using your position and trying to sort of guilt trip and sort of emotionally manipulate people by saying, oh, well, I'd just like to remind you all that, the Doctor's this, and this, and the show's all about this. And Trump doesn't represent that, even though I kind of disagreed because, I mean, I'm sorry, Sylvester, but the reason I fell in love with the show was because it was
He's a sellout.
The reason I fell in love with the show because it was fun and I had a sense of adventure. Now, as far as I'm concerned, Trump seems like quite a fun character, so maybe they've got more in common than maybe you would think. That's a joke, by the way, but it's like I just didn't like the fact that he felt like, and I get like, okay, he played the character, so you'll feel he have some sort of authority to speak, but it's like you are aware that, like, as far as the Doctor was aware, he thought he destroyed his own planet, and
he has no authority to speak.
It just sort of cringed me a bit. I just don't like any sort of celebrities who just sort of use their position and be like, well, if you're a Doctor Who fan and like you're strong again, like gaslight you and think, oh, well, you need to vote for this or you need to be in, or sort of, well, you're not a real Doctor Who fan if you're a Trump supporter or if you're this. Like, just let people vote. Let people make their own choice. Not that it concerns you anyway.
This is where I stand on Sylvester McCoy. This is a man that originally came out and said that he had concerns about a female Doctor. Right, he got it. He saw what happened. Peter Davison getting a bit of criticism, right, and other people getting it. Colin Baker had a go at him, right? And then that little sellout changed his fucking tune, right? So when it comes to shit coming out of his mouth, or Colin Baker's, or David Tennant, or any of those other gobshites, right? I say ignore them, right? Their comments, their opinions are not relevant to any of us. They have no business of sticking their nose in and getting involved in something that doesn't fucking concern them in the first place, right? They're paid to do something else. So sorry, I can't take the word or listen to Sylvester McCoy, because I know that he's a little sellout, because I know deep down that he didn't agree with the female doctor, but because he got the backlash, he just showed how much of a weak fucking man he is, just like what we have mostly on this fucking planet. Weak fucking men who have bowed down to all this agenda and all of this fucking nonsense and haven't fucking pushed back against it. So I have no time for little ratbags like Sylvester McCoy or any other gobshite in the Doctor Who universe that has a problem with Donald Trump, right? If you have a problem, nobody gives a flying fuck. Mind your own business, right? Because of the left, this world is in absolute fucking chaos, right? Social cohesion has absolutely collapsed, and it's all because of the left. Nobody else is responsible but the left. The racism, the left, right? The climate hoax, the left. Gender ideology, the left. Everything that's destructive. Me Too, BLM, the left. Everything is them, right? So I'm not listening to Sylvester McCoy, right? And whoever's running his fucking page, you ought to be a fucking shame to yourself if he's not running it himself, right? But if he is running it himself, I will say this, Sylvester, mind your own fucking business about what goes on in the United States of America, and worry about what's happening in your own fucking people, in your own fucking country, right? Because they're being oppressed by your fucking government, right? It's happening all over the UK, England, Scotland, and Wales. All of the fucking countries over there are in uproar, right? Because of the fucking policies of the left and the fucking assholes. Shut your fucking mouth. And I don't care what anybody in this Doctor Who fandom says to me, saying he's criticising, he's going overboard. I don't give a shit. Right? I've had to listen to these people for the last fucking 8 years, and I'm not listening to them anymore. Their opinions are not valid, and anything that comes out of their mouth is destructive and is absolute horseshit. So shut your fucking mouth. Whole lot of yous. Anyway, back to this fucking timeless child nonsense. What do you think? Do you think RTD is a fucking moron for doing something that nearly fucking destroyed the show?
I think it's borderline silliness, and I mean it's 2024, and we're still talking about the timeless child again. Like, when does it stop? Like, I'm sorry, I don't get how he's so in love with this idea. He's so obsessed over it.
Yeah.
When Russell Chibnall wouldn't think twice about redoing your way. I mean, Moffat did it. I mean, do you remember that show? It was Frank Skinner was on the radio, and he brought Russell on. And like, as a sort of joke or playful comment, Frank Skinner was like, "Oh, what do you make of Moffat? Like, basically rewriting your own like Gallifrey thing, and basically rewriting something you did." And Russell was like, "Oh, we should part of the cause. It's natural. It's nothing out the ordinary." Well, again, like I say, if Chibnall or Moffat can rewrite your stuff, you can rewrite someone else's as well. Like, you don't have to feel bad about treading on someone else's toes when it's happened to you. So why continue such a controversial?
Here's a question for you, Cinnamon, in relation to that.
Majority disliked and very detrimental and very. It wasn't just something that was we tried something and like not many people liked it. It isn't something small. Like, do you remember that wooden TARDIS Tom Baker had for like a season? Oh yeah, maybe it wasn't as popular, so maybe we went back to the old one. This isn't something small. This was something massive.
Yeah.
That sent shockwaves.
Here's a question for you, Cinnamon. What would it take for you to accept this timeless children nonsense from RTD? What would he have to do personally for you to accept this timeless child nonsense? What could he do to change your mind? And PD, the same question to you. So I'll give you a few minutes to think about it while Cinnamon answers. And everybody in the chat as well. What is acceptable for you? If he brought the timeless children back, or the timeless child back, right? How would he have to do it for you to accept it? Okay, so Cinnamon, what would he have to do for you?
Well, to be fair, I'm kind of I feel like should be no more sitting on the fence. Either have something in place or like Doctor Who. And I watched a really good video about this, and it was, well, it wasn't to do with Doctor Who, but it was to do with Assassin's Creed. But the point was like, I thought was very similar. Doctor Who needs to start taking itself seriously again. And what I mean by that, I don't mean like, oh, it needs to stop being silly. Although that as well, to be fair, it needs to stop being so hip and down and trying to be desperately be cool and trendy. What I mean by it needs to be serious, it needs to respect its own rules and its own rules essentially. And that was what, again, when I watched this YouTube video, the person, okay, he was talking about Assassin's Creed, but he made the same point. Like, Assassin's Creed needs to start taking itself seriously again. Again, you don't set up these rules just to break them again. And again, people bang on about, oh, Doctor Who was always rewriting its own. Not really. It's not actually that difficult to follow. A few things have changed. For a TV show that's been around for 60 years, there's going to be a few small inaccuracies. Again, unit dating, but again, a little bit of headcanon can be used for that. Small things. But Doctor Who needs to start taking itself seriously. And by that, it means it needs to stick to its rules, and it needs to try and be consistent with them. Because if every couple of years you're just going to come up with some claptrap, like, oh, Doctor Who needs to open up the canon a little bit, or just change it for change's sake, well, then what's the point? If every couple of years, every time you introduce them, oh, well, that thing that we brought 4 years ago, we've just rewritten that. Well, what's the point then? You've got to have something, like a little bit of consistency. Doctor Who's a type of show that you can do a lot with. So why, again, for people who tend to like say, oh, we're not going to be held down by the past. Oh, we don't talk about past Doctors on set. But you seem to be obsessed with the continuity and the past of the show a lot.
Exactly.
A lot for the same people that talk about moving forward.
Exactly. Why can't you just write Doctor Who episodes and forget about getting bogged down, as you said?
Really, with the Timeless Child, to answer your question, what do I want them to do? Well, again, there was a little bit of tease of it, but I don't want to tease it. People need, and okay, I get. He's trying to please both worlds, because in the Timeless, that wasn't the Timeless, in the 60th anniversary and the whole toy maker and having it like, oh well, if you want to have it like that, and then you can have it like that, or if you think the toy maker messed up the Doctor's past, and that can work too, just pick one. I'd rather, I mean, I might not like it, but I'd rather you might respect that more if you just pick a side instead of just try to please everybody. We fix it in. Let's basically tie it up, put it. Resolve what Chibnall didn't, because he just was lazy and just handed it over to someone else because he couldn't be bothered.
Amen to that.
So either resolve it and tie it up, and do something with it, and then leave it, and then just move forward. It was not liked. It was not universally loved. You want to talk about Pete Capaldi not being universally loved. Well, neither was that. I mean, again, it was the most controversial element of Doctor Who probably ever, and you're still dying on this hill, or you want to do it, you want to just leave it. You might like it, but there's lots of things I like about Doctor Who that like a majority of people wouldn't. But I wouldn't just like force my ego on it and say, no, I'm going to have my way. If majority of people don't like something and I do, I'm probably not going to include it, because I feel, although it might be my creative vision, it's not about me. I'm not making the show for me. I'm not making the show for the casual viewers or for the fans.
He's making the show for himself. He's making the show for himself.
And that's why when we talk about the showrunner, you made a point before about, I don't think these showrunners are fans. I think they're too much of a fan. I think they just see it as their way. Chibnall's sort of, well, this is my Doctor, this is my idea of Doctor, and I want to force my way of it. I mean, that's kind of the job of a writer anyway. I get that. Some people go, well, he's a writer, he's going to do that. I get that. But you go too strong with it. Well, this is my idea. Doctor Who fans are very opinionated about what we think the show is. So these people are going in their direction of what they think the show is, and it can only be that. They're not doing it for others. That's what I would do. I would write it for the benefit of the show and for what people actually want.
But that's
Did people ask for the Timeless Child? Did anyone really ask for the question of Doctor Who? Who actually is he? No one wanted
that you bring up about making the show. The point that you bring up about making the show for everybody, but that's the startling thing. He did do that in 2005. He did do that in 2005. So this is why we were a bit harsher on RTD this time around, because we know he can do it. We know
he should know better, to be honest. He's not a new writer. He's not somebody who's never written on Doctor Who before. He's a so-called fan. He's been there, got the T-shirt and run the show before. So he's stepping back into an old management role he's had before. It's ego. Like I said, the show needs to start taking itself seriously again. It needs to lay some ground rules and try and respect it and try and keep some consistency. Otherwise, what's the point of watching a TV show that just completely changes everything every couple of seasons. And again, some smart ass will be like, well, that's what Doctor Who is. No, it reinvents itself with a new
it's not.
Doctor or a new companion or a new TARDIS or maybe a new element to it. But the Doctor, the companion traveling the TARDIS, that always stays the same. And recently, Doctor Who, again, parking all the sort of discussions of wokeness. Wokeness isn't even coming into the discussion here. I'm talking about just the simple foundation and like law changes that are just being completely upended and just again change for change's sake, not respecting its own rules, not taking itself seriously. And you wonder why people are giving up, not just because of certain actors or not even just because of certain things that actors are saying, although that doesn't help as well. But I'm not being, again, like I say, why would I want to invest my time in something that doesn't take itself seriously and will just change it anyway in a season or two when it's convenient? And again, tie up the timeless child, do whatever the hell you want with it. I mean, it shouldn't even be mentioned again. But he's dying on this hill. He's reluctant because it's his way or the highway, and he'll never change, and he won't listen to anyone else.
I'll only accept it if he
get out of the way
retcons
and
it.
done with, and then just leave it. Like it's
No,
again,
but I'll accept it.
Still bang on about
I'll
it.
accept it if he retcons it. If he comes in and does what we originally thought he was going to do with the Timeless Child and the Timeless Children story arc, that he was going to somehow, retcon the thing or undo the damage that Chibnall caused. Yeah, if he brought it back in that capacity and he tried to sort it out, I would absolutely support it, because that is, for a lot of fans, like for me, I thought it didn't. Yeah, it is a big thing. I got upset about. You know, I did. You all saw that. But the thing about it is, for me, I was able to move on and say, look, if they brought the show back and they totally ignored this, I'd be fine with it. If they ignored it, right?
Yeah, we also did, the whole half-human thing, and it would have been one of those things we moved on.
For other fans out there, though, I do know for a fact that even if RTD did ignore this, it wasn't good enough for some fans out there. They wanted this addressed. They wanted this retconned. So if he brings it back in those terms and retcons this and fixes the issues that Chibnall created, I would have no problem with it. But we know that's not what he's going to do. We know that he's probably going to add on to this and try make it make sense, which will make it worse for me, because then once he does that and he justifies this, there is no going back. This is what I'm saying. This is
the only way
an idiotic idea for him. He's going to absolutely derail this show now if he does this. And I don't know why you're doing it, RTD. I know you're angry with some fans out there because we didn't get on board with you this time. But there's no reason for you to be petty and vindictive if you're bringing this back. Because I know the only reason why you'd be bringing it back is to actually enhance this more, to make it canon. And I'm going to tell you now, if you put that Timeless Child nonsense before the Force fucking Doctor, you are going to have an outright civil war in this fandom. I can guarantee you that.
The only way I've ever managed to sort of, and again, even what I'm about to say will still, some people like, but no, it's still not good enough. But like, the only way I've ever tried to sort of be able to somewhat accept it is the best way I can do it is if imagine the Timeless Child, whatever that was, the whole Ruth Doctor, however many incarnations of that there was, try your best to sort of separate that character and the Doctor, like the Doctor that we know him from, William Hartnell, all the way up to Shuey, if you even count Shuey. But again, that's another discussion. I've always somehow found it easier to separate them, and I watched a really good theory on this by someone, and I thought that was actually really interesting. Whatever the Timeless Child where was, whatever the hell that is, whatever the cut-off point was, I can't remember what it was now, but it was essentially sort of saying the Doctor was, the Timeless Child was reborn, and the Timeless Child was no longer a thing, and he was reborn into a new life and into the Doctor that we know. So like, then that would like somewhat be easy. So like, basically what I'm trying to say is,
I know, I get what you're saying. It's like the butterfly thing that turns into
a butterfly. It wakes up into something new. That's what would have happened. So whatever the Timeless Child, whether it's a fugitive Doctor, was doing missions for the CIA and said, yeah, right, we don't want you anymore. We're going to wipe your memory. We're going to sort of kill you and then like reborn you or rebirth you into a new Time Lord as a nearly new person, as a new boy into a new like life and a whole new brand new regeneration set. Absolutely, like a bit like reincarnation. How people believe they lived a previous life.
See, I kind of like
that.
your theory. I kind of like that theory to
Again, it's not
a certain
perfect,
extent.
but it's the best way I've ever been able to come with it. You know, and so because obviously I'd hate it if they were to say like, oh no, somebody
But-
regenerated into Hartnell. Like, no, it'd have to be reborn
unfortunately,
into someone.
You're right, no.
where because in Flux
There
he
you
tried to indicate that there was a bit of a multiverse shit going on, and that this potential timeless child could be a multiverse thing. See, this is where I'd be on it. If he found a way to kind of separate the two, right?
Yeah.
Like put them in separate universes, I could accept that, because then he could just discard the other universe and we don't even have to fucking, touch it again.
Well,
if
that's
we
what I mean.
didn't
Like,
want
if they
it.
were to do something like when we watched The Timeless Child, there was like they said, didn't they, that the little girl was found outside of a black hole or something. So the Timeless Child could have originated from another universe, fell through some sort of black hole by some sort of like crazy event, and then crossed into sort of our universe, into to be discovered onto what would later become Gallifrey, and sort of like, and they could do it like in that way. So like another being, a creature from another being, or not from another universe, came into our universe, was discovered, was later found a time-worn civilization, and like because it sort of become like a mythical like legend, to the point where it sort of, again, by nature sort of distanced itself from the character. So whenever it was all said and done, and all the missions for the the Central Intelligence, Time Lord Agency and all that, when the mind was wiped and reborn into a new body, reincarnated, because I would hate that. That's the only way it can work for me, is if they can, like, if
Well,
Russell could
Dr.
somehow
Wolf.
write it in a way that separates the sort of two beings. So like, you've got the Doctor and the Timeless Child, or the Doctor used to be the Doctor used to be the Timeless Child, but the Timeless Child isn't the Doctor. If that somehow makes sense to somebody, I'm trying my best to explain it the best way I can. I'm probably not doing the greatest job, but like, trying to
Maybe what
separate
could
them
happen
as two
is
different
that
things.
they go back, right? They fight to get the timeless child, but the Doctor has to rewrite history, because Gallifrey's history has been rewritten, and we have these new Time Lords,
the
these
one.
rogue Time Lords, and basically,
Rassilon did it.
yeah,
There
exactly.
you go.
And then you could just have the Doctor, our original universe Prime Doctor, fix the whole but he's not going to do that. That's just wishful thinking on my part.
Because
Look,
that's
I will say this: it's
Doctor.
going to be interesting. It will be interesting to see if RTD does do this timeless child nonsense. I mean, when we'll get a first indication, will be the trailer, of course. When the trailer drops, and we'll see if there's anything in that references either Flux, as someone has mentioned, Surreal Super Doctor there. He said as well, the Matrix breaking through to reality is a possibility, creating the multiverse, the timeless child, and the Flux. And that, again, Real Super Doctor is fucking brilliant, because that's how you could actually explain all of this and make it, so Doctor Who fans like us are not upset. That would be, see, if Chips had done something like that, which I think he did try to do with Flux, but Flux started off well. We all said it, the first episode of Flux was actually very well done, and we actually all thought maybe this is where he's going to hit his peak. He's actually going to do something here, but he just
I told you why.
like he wrote the first episode, and then the next episodes, I don't know where I'm going with this. I'll just write some else shite.
Yeah, well, I told you all about that, didn't I?
Yeah, just, you know what I mean? He just fizzled out after it. It was like he blew his load on the first episode, and then the rest of the episodes then were just absolute, dire. It wasn't dire. It was just, there was nothing happening, nothing going on of note that we could say, oh yeah, that's deadly, that could lead to that, and then you had your moments of, he do the odd flashback here, there, and everywhere to try get you to hook you in, but it never worked. Flux had all the potential. I said it at the time. I think Flux could have been the best thing that Chibbs could have written if he just had executed it well and actually gave us more information. That was his deal, right? Just like what RTD is doing now. The lack of character development and story plot in these last couple of years, I have to say, has been absolutely shocking. I mean, RTD is considered one of the best. Even Chibbs at the time considered a great writer. Now, I never thought he was a great writer, but RTD, I do have some time for him. As I said, I did like Years and Years and other stuff that he's done. I will openly admit that I do like some of his stuff, but this stuff with Doctor Who now, since he's come back, it's just, I can't believe it's the same man. I really can't.
No, same as.
He's not.
Like,
He's not the same. Something
even
happened
not
along the
Tibbs,
way.
well, Tibbs as well, because he was writing it. But like, it just feels like, just again, without all the discussions about whether Doctor Who's woke now, again, that's not even relevant, because that's
No,
not even
it's
to
not
the
even
point.
relevant
Like, are we even
anymore
aware
now.
of it? It just purely is a writing thing. It just
That's
feels like
it.
there's loads of changes now. That, like, do you remember in the Moffat era, there wasn't loads of like massively new canon being introduced, or massive, like, oh no, actually, Doctor, you're not who you thought you were. Oh no, yeah, look at this, world universe ending event, like Flux or something like that. It just feels like there's lots and lots of change happening recently, and especially, like, again, the whole fact that, another one, old Doctor's faces can now come back, just little changes. Or, well, Doctor Who can do this now, or Doctor Who might not even need a regeneration cycle after all. It's like, well, okay, well, all these things that that was staples of the show make it what it were, but like, okay, so like, again, the Doctor can have limitless regenerations. Well, that's kind of weird. The Doctor can not, no, like, I could always do this, or the Doctor can't do this anymore. It just, like I say, the only sort of way I can even, I mean, to be honest,
We just
it
want
wouldn't even need to.
Doctor Who needs to just go back to its roots. It's not even that hard. We just want it to be fun. We just want it to make sense. We want good character development. It's not as if we're asking for miracles here, right? The thing about it is that RTD, during his first era with the writers and the people that he assembled during that era, all did very well and did their jobs well, because we got his first era of Doctor Who is amazing. It is. And like, I know people will be indifferent to his era, and have been over recent years, but the team of writers that he assembled, right, the directors, the producers, right, even himself, like, when he had someone there to tell him you can't go too far, it worked. The problem that we have now is this man is in total charge, and he shouldn't be in total charge, because even back then he was coming out with wild ideas and theories, but he always had someone to rein him in, and he never transpired. This is a man now that has money because of all the different deals, and it has been put in charge, and he shouldn't have been put in charge. There should have been someone there put in with him. There should have been two of them at least in charge. If you were going to bring RTD back, fine. Do you know what I would have done? I would have brought Stephen Moffat back as well with him.
Oh yeah.
That's what.
Why not have why not like have a core, like, showrunner, like, share the load equally.
Yeah, if you were going to go down that route, of course. Now, ideally, I would want them to come back, right? Ideally, I would want them to come back. But if you were going to go down that route and bring one of them back, don't bring one of them back. Bring the two of them back, because that's when Doctor Who was at its best. Look at Stephen Moffat's episodes within the RTD era. They're some of the best fucking episodes that we ever gotten in Doctor Who, right? It's a fact. It's a fact. So I don't understand. This could have been something amazing if you bring those two back. Because the good thing about it is RTD would have kept Stephen Moffat in check, and Moffat would have kept him in fucking check. Exactly. And we probably would have something totally fucking different. Totally fucking different. Even Boom, right? It's not my favourite Moffat episode, I've got to admit it, right? I think it's probably one of his weakest out of all the things that he's written for Doctor Who. But it was vastly improved on anything that we had saw from RTD, right? If we had had those two working together, I think the two of them working together is a different story. I think they do bring out the best in each other. And that's what this show probably needed, was not just, as Cinnamon said, one showrunner. We need two people in charge of this show to keep the other person in check. It's look, this decision to bring RTD back has haunted the BBC and the people that have decided to pump money into this. If you want to recover this, you have two options right now. You tell RTD the game is up, or you go cap in hand to Stephen Moffat, give him a blank check, right, and ask him what figure it's going to take for him to come back and bring him back. Simple as that. And have the two of them there, right, running it, and give them a season, see what happens. And if it still doesn't improve after that, well, then pull the fucking plug. But RTD is not going to rescue this with the timeless child nonsense. He's not going to rescue anything else or any flashy stuff or bringing back old companions, as we know he's going to continue to do, or bringing back old villains. We're past all of that now. What we want as fans, we just want Doctor Who to go back to its roots, right?
I mean,
We want it to be fun, enjoyable. We want it to be happy. We want it to be sad. We want to be on the edge of our seats. We want to see alien space battles. We want to see the Doctor in impossible situations and get out of them. All of the things that made Doctor Who the best show, in my belief, the best show out there for a few decades at least. Doctor Who was and still is one of the most unique IPs out there. And if they just stopped trying to make this show like every other generic sci-fi show out there, I can guarantee you that golden goose, as I keep calling a golden goose because it is, if someone was in there that actually knew what they were doing with Doctor Who and showed a bit of love, care and respect, they would have the biggest show on the planet. It'd be up there with the likes of Game of Thrones. You know, all the hype for Game of Thrones every season, the way it was huge. That's how you could have Doctor Who. And people think that's a fairy tale fucking dream. But it's not when you've got Disney money behind you and you're in 68 fucking countries. You can make this show global, truly global. You can make this the biggest show on the fucking planet. But you are lazy and you brought in the wrong people to do it. If you just listen to fans. Fans are not saying that you should listen to them exclusively all the time, but when we're telling you it's not working, you should sit up and pay a fucking attention, because we've been right every other fucking time. So why not listen to us? And you will all make money, not just the show. Fans will go out buy merch. You will all fill our pockets. Isn't that what it's all about? It's all about making money and entertaining. Just remember that back in the good old days when you used to fucking entertain people, put smiles on people's faces. People were out there in the real world to be shitty. They turn on TV and they could escape for an hour. That's what we want. That's what
ultimately, that was why we watched Doctor Who, not because, like Sylvester might say, because we need to, or we don't watch Doctor Who for moral lessons.
It's not a cult.
We don't all actually think the Doctor's a real person. And even again, we all know the Doctor's done bad things as well. So, I mean, again, that argument, a bit of a strange one, but it's like Doctor Who's my favourite thing in the whole world. My family, of course, but like I park in that, obviously, because your family should be taken for granted. It's a given anyway. But like, in terms of my favourite hobby, it's Doctor Who. But it's like, I don't base my whole life around it. I don't sit there that deeply and think, well, okay, I'm only, I take more. You can take some lessons from it. Yeah, okay, but like you shouldn't always do it. At the end of the day, it's just a TV show that was made to fill a gap between some game show and the football in the 60s, and it delved into this really great thing. And it's just a TV show, and it's supposed to entertain people. It's not, it's not a moral code. It's not a moral code. You don't have to base your whole life around it. People need, I see the amount of people that can tweet about it, so many all day. It's like, get a life. I don't mean that in a looking down way, because I'm the biggest nerd you could probably find. There's not. I mean, I'm the sort of person that will spend well over £750 on Blu-ray box sets. I mean, that's a lot of money to spend.
Look, I'm in my 40s, right? I'm in my 40s. I can proudly say that I'm a Doctor Who fan. 40 odd years, 4 decades, right? I get where you're coming from. I used to be exactly like that. I lived and breathed Doctor Who 24/7, especially when the new Who era came back and it was successful. I lived and breathed Doctor Who. That's all. And I got consumed by it. And you've all seen that. I got consumed, everything that was happening. You're seeing it. I'm not like that now. I can detach myself to a certain extent now. But to me, that is sad. I don't mind.
Yeah, but that's nothing wrong with that in principle. Like, being obsessed with the TV show, buying all the merchandise, and really getting into it. That's fine. I know that one friend that always talks about Doctor Who. That's fine. That's not necessarily what I mean. It's the people that like lecture about it and lecture people, and like they go around so convinced that the Doctor wouldn't like you. Well, the Doctor's not real, and they obsess over like the morality of it and like try and one up other fans. Oh,
but what would they know?
You're a conservative. Doctor conservative.
But it's ironic because they're moral
and they say we're the gatekeepers. They say we gatekeep things. Well, they literally gatekeep the show and say, well, it's not for you. Like that. You can't get more gatekeeping than that, can you? I mean, it's
Yeah.
just. I mean, the hypocrisy there is like astounding. It's a sort of obsession over the morality of it that like
I
people
know, it's
claim to
OCD.
strong
But you
ownership.
see, what I don't get is these younger fans, listen, just take it from experience for someone who's been around a long time. When this show does go away, you will regret it. You will regret how you treated people in this fandom. You will regret, that you didn't and you
I mean,
weren't
they
understanding
literally the
towards
thing on
fans.
Doctor Who Twitter the other day was they bullied someone because they didn't like one of the reaction channels. They bullied them because they didn't watch it in the right order that they should have done, or in the conventional order, or they watched something and
Fans
then
are the
got to a certain
heartbeat
point
of
and then
this
went back.
show and always have been. And that's the thing that's different about Doctor Who. Right? Same with
You're right, Noel.
those shows.
There
Now,
you are.
what they try to do is they try to erase us fans by replacing us with these new trendy fans. And then on top of that, they have tried to make these shows or franchises more mainstream. You see, Doctor Who's success, right? Yes, it was a sci-fi show, right? It was an educational show, historical show. It had different tags, right? But in the 60s, as Cinnamon said, it's absolutely fucking spot on. Like, it was a little show that was put in between the time because they needed to kill a bit of fucking time. But it grew an audience, right? And it grew a mainstream audience back then, right? And I had this great ability, and this is what's missing today. You can get anybody to watch Doctor Who, right, and still make it sci-fi and geeky, but still appeal to other people. And why can you do that? Well, because you bring in the top level writers that understand how to interweave all of this together to make it appeal. And that's what Doctor Who did in the 60s. It didn't
And because
just
it took
appeal
itself
to
seriously as well, it was
fans,
a show that
it
it
appealed
was
to
a new
mothers,
show.
fathers, brothers, and sisters. Like
Mhm.
everybody was sitting around the telly watching Doctor Who in the 60s. Or even when I was growing up in the 80s, we were sitting around the TV watching Doctor Who because my dad was a Doctor Who fan.
Because
Right?
it grew itself from the ground up because it was his own thing. It did it again. It was again, like I said earlier, it respected its own rules. It took itself seriously. It was what it was. It was unique. Again, in the 60s, they weren't going, "Oh, we've got a new show. Can people watch it, please? Can you just watch it?" No, you grew an audience because it had a niche. It was a niche show that grew into its own thing as it developed and added new things, like and introduced like things like regeneration and then Time Lords, and it just expanded on. As the show grew over the years, it got bigger and bigger because it stuck to what it was. It was very largely consistent. Again, Doctor Who for 26 years. Okay, they made some changes, but it's largely the very same show.
Here's the
So
thing: the
and that's what it was.
regeneration, though, was a rebirth for the show because
Mm.
where obviously Hartnell, we all found out about his medical problems, and you know what, his demise is actually fucking sad when you actually read it, when you look at it. It's fucking heartbreaking. The man would have literally died on that show. That's how much that show actually did mean to him, and it breaks me heart to think that BBC did make that decision, but ultimately they made the right decision for not just the future of the show, but for William Hartnell as well, because he got to live a few years after. I do actually reckon that if he had stayed on the show, it probably would have killed him because of the long hours and this. He was even saying himself the work hours were horrible. But regeneration, that whole idea was a rebirth for this show. And also, it made sure that this show could last till the end of time in reality because of that little plot device. And I honestly believe Jordan knew who's run anyway. They've been a bit too fucking quick to regenerate fucking doctors, and it's kind of lost its appeal in my opinion. That's why when you'd see the boy generation, obviously fans like me, we were upset and angry that he would disrespect regeneration like that. But did it really come as a surprise for me? I have to say no, because for the simple fact is if you think about it, even Moffat had this tendency to do little fake regenerations and show the regeneration energy. So it did over time.
This is what I mean when I say it stopped taking itself seriously. I mean, you know, you never saw things like fake regeneration. I mean, it works one time, but then he did it a few times.
Yeah.
Like, again, in 12 did it as well when he was shot, and he wasted, like, an amount of energy just for a joke. And it's like River got pissed at 11 because he used a little bit to fix a broken hand. And yet 12's out there, like, pouring it out of him like it's no tomorrow.
Yeah, do you remember when
and
he
it's
did
all right? Like,
Joy?
again, it's the inconsistency, and it treats it as a joke. And again, after you have former doctors come back as a whole new incarnation, at that point, yeah, I'm not surprised that you're getting things like bioregeneration because you're just messing around with it now. And regeneration is one of the biggest rules. When we talk about rules and law, that regeneration is always there. It's the one constant thing that you can always be guaranteed will happen.
I don't know about you, Cinnamon, and PD, but I always seen regeneration as a sort of a sacred thing, to be quite honest with you.
In Time Lord culture, you know, it's not something that, you know, is oh yeah,
even Captain Jack showed that. Do you remember when Tennant's doctor shot by the dart, get him into the TARDIS, and he gets them to stand back? But you could see it was that's why they brought him into the TARDIS, a private moment. You know what I mean? Like this is
why I always like Ten's regeneration. It was very controversial. I get that, and not everyone liked the outburst, but I feel like it works, and like I like the fact that he was sad about it because that shows like actually the sort of brutal nature of it. I know people will go, well, hang on, you've regenerated 9 or so times before. Why are you only bothered about it now?
I just thought it was a bit of arrogance from David Tennant's doctor. But when you look at it and analyse it the way we're analysing it today, I absolutely agree with you. It's spot on, because at that moment you do see the brutality of regeneration, because he does say it's not fair. You know what I mean? Why?
They're all the same doctor. They are all the same person. But it's like, imagine if you're the 8th doctor and I'm the 9th. Well, me and you are different people. Although, like, because we're the doctor, we're like one person. But you've sort of got to, like, imagine each doctor's a different person. And imagine going to someone and be like, oh, well, actually, yeah, PD, you're going to die now. And you don't have any say about it. Because, you know, the woman in, you know, the previous episode said you're going to die. And the youth said you're going to die. So you're going to die and you're going to turn into Noel. And you're not going to, like, know that you know, because you'll turn into him and you'll have a whole new mindset and a whole new memories and a whole new body. So you'll be dead. Noel will be happy because he's alive now and now he's a doctor. You know, you're obviously going to be a little bit rubbed away. And that's why I love that scene in the cafe. One, because it's a great scene. But the doctor's right, you know, some new man does go sauntering away. He's not the doctor anymore. Okay, he lives on in him, but it's not David. It's not that him version. You know, he's not running around.
Not that like, personality.
Yeah, so PD will be dead. In this hypothetical situation, PD's
it's
now
like
dead.
the death of a personality.
And Noel's now alive, and Noel's now got PD's memories, but PD isn't there. You've just got his memories, and if you die, then I am then born, and then I've got your memories and PD's memories. So the cycle continues, but then none of us really still there though, and that's why I liked it, because there was that security. Like, yeah, well, that doctor's dead now. Like, the doctor actually is dead. He's not coming back. Okay, the 12th Doctor will know that he's him because he's him, but like he'll be his own person. But like that's why I liked it, because it was a sacred thing, like we were just saying. It's a very personal thing. It was something like that should be treated with a bit of respect. You don't just be flippant about it and throw in a new incarnation here when you feel like doing one, or throwing crazy shit like, oh, we're going to bioregenerate and all these weird little needless changes. Like, again, there was always going to come a point where we reached the 13th life limit, and they were going to have to come up with a reason as to explain it. But that isn't going to come around very often.
Yeah,
we've lasted for 50 years or so with that cycle. We'll be fine for another 50 years. You don't then ruin it by saying, well, the doctor can always regenerate now. He's got limitless regenerations, because that just really makes it boring. You have to have that danger there, because then you just live from forever then about that point.
Exactly, and this is the thing. This is the challenge for every showrunner. When it comes time that you've reached the next set cycle of regeneration, you've got to figure it out how to give them more, and that's the beauty of the show. But we got someone in the chat that I haven't seen before, so I just want to call out their comments. The Time Vortex project there. It says 61 and 3/4. Ousted out as a fan at school in the 60s and 70s. Spent most of my life on VHS bootlegs, VHS way back, and every media release, official up the chibs crap. The BBC has lost money, I think you are were saying there. Listen, there's a lot of fans out there like yourself around that time period that were getting the old bootlegs as well. You know, look, I obviously wasn't born around the time when Doctor Who was first conceived, but you know, I would have loved to be around at the time when that show was kicking ass. So I'm a bit envious of fans like yourself, to be quite honest with you. But I've got to enjoy Doctor Who just as much as yourself. But it is, I have to agree with you. You know, it's BBC has lost a lot of money because they just don't seem to know what to do with the show since Moffat actually left. See, this thing, RTD, they kind of got lucky with RTD and Stephen Moffat. They didn't think it'd go wrong with Chibs, but it did, unfortunately. And it hasn't recovered since. And it was already on the decline at the end of the Stephen Moffat era anyway, because BBC had been injecting the woke virus into the show. They keep forgetting that Doctor Who's sci-fi is supposed to entertain. We don't want to be lectured, as Cinnamon said. We don't watch Doctor Who for a moral. Yeah, sometimes an episode or a story of Doctor Who will have a moral message, but that's not the main criteria.
No, we don't watch Doctor Who for that message, do you? Like, this is what.
Exactly.
This is why
that's what seems to be the criteria for every show today, every movie franchise. There has to be some sort of social or moral message, and there doesn't have to be. You know, the bottom line is we're all sick and tired of it. Anyway, this has been going on since, you know, the mid 2000s now, 2010 onwards. We've been slowly being fed this shite. We've had enough. We just want to be entertained. That's why a lot of people nowadays, they'll binge watch their old shows. They'll binge watch old movies because they're just sick and tired when they turn on the TV being lectured. Lectured on it. So
I mean, you look at me. I'm replaying a lot of older games on my channel. I played again from 2010. I'm playing one now from 2006 because they've generally got a good story. And like when I did the Red Dead Redemption playthrough, someone in the comments was like, "Oh, this is different, isn't it? It's nice to have like just a normal story." And I'm like, "Yeah, you're damn right, because it's just a story there. It's there to entertain. It's not there to, you know, to push something on you. You know, that's all you want." So sorry, Sylvester, but I watch Doctor Who to be entertained by the monsters, the effects, the Doctor, the excitement of having a new actor for the Doctor. You know, all those things that you watch Doctor Who for. You don't watch Doctor Who for a moral lesson or to base your whole life around like the teachings of it, or, you know, try and like gaslight and sort of emotionally manipulate people and think, well, if you're a fan of this, then surely you can't vote for that person because it's a complete contradiction. And like, I'm going to say this on my high horse and like, oh, I'm just saying it to remind you all to make the right choice. I didn't really ask for your opinion. Did anyone ask for your opinion? Like,
you need to play the Uncharted series. If you like a good story, then you will like the Uncharted series of games. I know I got them. I actually got the whole lot of them on PS Plus when I had my PS Plus subscription. I actually got the whole bundle for about 40 quid or something. It's real cheap. Got all the games. But if you want a game series with a good story, well then.
Like even the one I'm doing now, Dead Rising, I've spoken about it plenty of times because of all the censorship of the remake. But I'm playing the original now on the channel, and that has a message in it. I won't talk about it because I've not uploaded the parts yet for someone who doesn't know. But there is a message in there about like Americanism and consumerism. But it serves the story. It adds to it and it explains. It ties into why the zombies are even there. So it's not, it serves the story. It's not just thrown in there to wag its finger at the audience or to make the audience sort of question itself. Like RTD seems to want the audience to question itself. Like he sort of attacks it sort of points the finger back on us and be like, oh, well, why didn't you spot in Dot and Bubble? Why didn't you notice that everyone was white? Because it's a Doctor Who. I'm sat down watching a Doctor Who episode. I'm trying to watch the story. Okay, the Doctor's not into it, so that's kind of maybe why I'm a bit distracted. Because for the second episode in a row, he's barely in it. Maybe because that's on my mind a little bit. So yeah, maybe I'm not. Maybe because I'm not obsessed with race. So maybe I don't sit there and think, oh, everyone's white in this episode. No, I'm trying to watch it because it's Doctor Who. It's my favourite thing. I just want to watch a brand new episode, which it was on that particular night. It was a brand new episode. I sat down to watch it. What's this episode going to be about? And I was looking forward to it the week prior as well. That's what I'm thinking about. I'm not thinking about why everyone's white or looking at the problems behind it. And I don't want to watch Unleashed and have you sort of point the finger at me and go, oh, why didn't you notice? I didn't notice because I didn't care.
Oh, yeah.
I watched it because it's Doctor Who. I want to watch it to be entertained. Why are you trying to make me sort of second guess myself, like some sort of unconscious bias training? About, oh, well, why didn't I notice? Well, because I'm too busy trying to enjoy the damn thing while you're trying to put a down on it and pour cold water over everything. Again, it's weird because, again, all the contradictions and all the talk about, oh, we want Doctor to be a light in a world so full of darkness. We need Doctor to be light. They kept saying that in interviews.
Well, do you know what's going to happen if Doctor Who gets renewed, right? Especially since now Donald J. Trump is president. We're going to get more Trumpism in fucking Doctor Who episodes, movies, all this other shite. Do you know what? Look, I would just love Doctor Who, as I said. Just go back to what you do, right? Because you know what? The world is already a fucking sick place, right? We need some entertainment, all right? You're driving us all fucking mad, which is our agenda-driven fucking bullshit. All right. Now, if Doctor Who doesn't go back to basics, right, it's game over. But I want to finish on this question, lads, because I have to wrap up soon, very soon. Not messing. She's coming home now, so she's out while I'm streaming.
Do you want me to answer the question? No.
So, but hold on. One more thing I'm gonna add to that question that I asked earlier. Do you believe if he brings back the timeless child, is that the final nail in the coffin for this show? Also, is the question that I want to add. But PD, go on, give us your opinion.
Going back, I'd go with what Super Doctor said. You know, Villa Doa. I can't pronounce the bloody thing. Just a second, where is it written down? Villa Diodati. When they gives the Cyberium to the Cyber, the lone Cybermen, he teleports them into the Matrix, and the whole thing has been in the Matrix all the time. That's what I'd do. And what I'd do to make it better is just go back to basics and make Doctor Who great again.
That's it. Now, the last question that I asked there, do you think if he doesn't retcon the timeless child, is this the final nail in the coffin of Doctor Who? If he does do exactly what people are saying he's going to do for season 2, which is reintroduce the timeless child. There's also rumors as well, which we didn't kind of cover. With the timeless child also comes the fugitive Doctor. You know, there has been, if you have noticed, that she is doing Big Finish, and there's been talk about
I want. Let her do a 5 minutes on Big Finish. Let it just be that.
But I will say this: I would rather have Joe Martin back on screen as the fugitive Doctor than Jodie Whittaker return. Now I've got to make that clear. Right, I don't want Jodie Whittaker back. I can tolerate Joe Martin to a certain extent. I still don't think she's at the level that she should be, but she understands the role better than Jodie. And for the few minutes that she was on screen, she upstaged Jodie, in my opinion. And the shame of Chris Chibnall's era should be actually the fact that he let down those two women very badly. He didn't do the best by Jodie Whittaker, and he certainly didn't do the best by Joe Martin, because Joe Martin has indicated, or at least hinted towards the fact that she was going to be in Doctor Who a lot more than what she was supposed to be in. And we've seen then the amount of time she actually had in Doctor Who, which didn't add up to what the things that she was saying, because it sounded like to me that she was going to be a very big part of this. And then when it didn't work out, I think Chris Chibnall got cold feet and he threw her on the trash heap, just like he did with Jodie Whittaker. I'm being honest, we will never know how good or bad Jodie Whittaker could have been as the Doctor, because Chris Chibnall did not play to her strengths. He never did. He never did. She's an emotional woman, right? You've seen that in stuff. You harness that emotion. You could have done something with our Doctor, made our Doctor not emotional, as in like what Shooty's Doctor's doing, crying every 5 fucking minutes.
That's what I always wanted. I always wanted them to do that with their Doctor. Obviously, we don't mean emotional in like a stereotypical, like hysterical woman, but like I always wanted them to do a bit like, okay, you've made such a big play, you made such a big deal about her being the first female Doctor. You were so obsessed with the fact that the Doctor's now a woman. Now we'll do something with it then.
Exactly.
I always wanted the Doctor, if she's going to be a woman now, lean into that sort of maternal. Again, not every woman has to be, a mother.
No, but the feminists would have gave out about that, though. But that's the thing, and that's why I think he didn't do it.
But then, the Doctor's been a father before, so then, you could. That's how you could get around it. Well, if the Doctor's a father, then if he's crossed into a woman now, then surely she would be a mother. And it's, basically what I'm saying is they made such a big play about the fact that she was a woman, but yet she never felt like one. She felt like a sort of neither. It was like, well, if you're going to make a big deal about it, at least sort of embrace it. That's what I would have wanted. I don't want the Doctor wearing sexualized clothing, but like some of the like instead of having her wear a tuxedo, why not have her wear a nice dress with the sonic pockets in it? But embrace it. She's a woman. Let her be a woman. If you're gonna make a big deal out of it.
To let her to be maternal, as you said, he was afraid to let her to be a traditional woman because the feminists and all of these lefty loonies would have came after him. But that's what would have worked for Jodie Whittaker's Doctor, because she is a mother as well. And if you think about it, you could have really played on that in this fucking show, and it probably would have worked because she would have gave her best performance because she is a fucking mother. So she would have been able to harness all of that. But the thing about it is he never played on her strengths. Look, I'm not saying that she would have turned out to be a great Doctor, right? We saw that the stuff that she was given, even with the stuff that she was given, she was very poor at getting it across on screen. Now, you can blame the directors on that as well, because maybe the direction was poor. Right? I'm not trying to make excuses for Jodie. You know I don't like the woman. I never have. I don't believe that the Doctor should have became female. But if you're going to do it, as Cinnamon said, you go full-blooded with it. You do all the things that make women women, and don't try do the opposite or make her more manly because you're afraid that some feminist might get their nose out of joint because you've decided to make a Doctor a motherly figure. There would have been nothing wrong with that. Would it have worked?
The Doctor had always been a man. The Doctor had always been a man. So again, every single actor has always got like the first job. Again, every actor. Really, after William Hartnell, every actor who's ever played the role has always had that first important, really hard challenge of, right, well, I'm the new Doctor. People are still a bit upset about the previous one leaving. I've got to really get my foot in the door. I've got to win people round. And that's what Matt Smith did. That's what everyone else did. Now, she had it slightly harder because, again, she had the job of, like, convincing people that she was a doctor, like everyone else does, like everyone else did. But it was a bit harder because she was a woman. It was almost like the expectations were a little bit higher, so she had an even bigger mountain to climb. So what they could have done was, again, to make it all worthwhile, the Doctor, again, at that point had been a very male role because it was only ever men. Well, why not go again? If you're gonna do it, if you can either do it or you don't, either put up or shut up. You don't make a change as big as that and then half-ass it. No, you've made the Doctor a woman now. You've made your bed, lie in it, embrace her feminine side. The Doctor's a woman now. Go for it. I would have been fine. Again, I'm not saying sexualize the Doctor.
But you know what? I agree with you. If you had went with a full-blooded and said and was on,
I would have respected it more. Do you know what I mean? I feel like we would have appreciated it just a little bit. Okay, we might have still have been bad. Probably might have been, but at least then we could have said, well, at least they tried to and really went for it. Not just like, oh well, we did it to look good. We did it for brownie points to make it the Doctor a female. Now,
yeah, they did it because they wanted to, and because they meant it, and because they really wanted to try something different. I would have had no problem with that. But Jodie Whittaker's casting, whether people like it or not, was politically motivated, and that's just the bottom line. And when you've got a casting like that that's politically motivated or is picked for certain reasons, then you're never gonna get anywhere. And this is why, again, with Shooty, unfortunately, you know, RTD picked them not because he was the last one in and blew them away. It was for political reasons, and we have to actually get with the reality of the situation. That's what it was. It was for political reasons. He believes that the UK is racist, so he wanted to make the point of bringing in a black man to play the Doctor.
Yeah.
Now, I had no problem with that, as you know. I didn't give a shit that Shooty was black. I was actually happy that he cast a male Doctor again. But again, RTD has let him down badly. We do know he wanted to play it traditionally. We do know he wanted the costume and all the things that come with Doctor Who, but he was vetoed by RTD. Now, RTD will have to live with that decision. But what's pissing me off and annoying me, right? People won't actually, well, the people that hate me won't believe this, but I'm actually gutted for Shooty. I'm actually gutted for Shooty.
Yeah.
And this is why I'm annoyed at Chibs as well with Jodie. In a way, I am a little bit gutted because we'll never know what a female Doctor would have been like because it was never done properly. And now, because of that, a woman is never going to get a chance to play that role again. I don't believe that even RTD will cast a woman now because I think real harm has been done to it. Now, if this whole timeless child is a prelude to him trying to get back into the good graces and try bring back a female Doctor, well, then again, I will say that that's going to be a failure because people still haven't gotten over the Jodie era and what transpired there. But listen, we could talk about this all fucking... Look, we'll do another one of these type of streams, right? Next week, we'll continue this conversation because this was an interesting one. We can break down the different facets of the Doctor and talk about what they're doing wrong. I like these type of conversations, but I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to let the lads
Can
do
I
this.
just wrap up on my little bit? No.
Go ahead, Sid.
You know the
PJ.
flashbacks, the timeless children, all the weird stuff that happened during Flux.
Yeah.
I would make that the memory of the other, which was the person before the Doctor, because they were thrown into the loom and became the Doctor afterwards, because they were technically reincarnated. I'd go back.
That's basically what I was kind of saying. Yeah.
That's what I'd do. I'd go back to Long Barrow and I'd do that, and that would solve a lot of problems.
Well,
just try and separate them as best you can. The concept
into the equation, Chibs did,
Yeah,
and then he didn't address it. He didn't address it. He brings it up. And then he doesn't do
brought
with it.
Long up for like 2 seconds, didn't he?
Yeah, and then he doesn't. But everybody was excited then. But I remember that night, everybody were taking the screenshots and putting them up and saying, "Oh, it's Long Barrow. Oh, he's going to do this. He's going to do that." And nothing transpired with it. Nothing.
Didn't do anything. That's what annoyed me. That's what so annoyed me about Flux.
Yeah.
That's what the whole thing was. That all this what we were seeing, all these weird stuff, this weird crazy stuff, was the original generation of the Doctor before they were thrown in, when they were the other, before they were thrown into the loom. And it just
and obviously in that the separate entities, they're almost like the completely separate things, and that's why I was saying that the best way to sort of like get your head around it the best you can, like, is to sort of say like, the timeless child was a thing, but then that's completely gone and is now completely reborn into a brand new Time Lord. Born or again, however Time Lord biology works, got a brand new or brand new Shebogan, I guess it wasn't a Time Lord, he became a Time Lord, but born as a normal Gallifreyan first, then grew up to become one, joined the academy again, start fresh. So that Doctor, William Hartnell, at that point he is the first Doctor. Before he was the first Doctor, again he wasn't another incarnation because that was literally the first one, but before that life, before the Doctor, as we know, the entire all regeneration, the Doctor as a living thing, before that, it was something completely different. Maybe come from a different universe, something that was the timeless child.
Yeah.
Again, I wouldn't want it to be like, the Ruth Doctor regenerated into William Hartnell, because then he really wouldn't be the first. You have to separate them into making like two different entities, two completely different things. That one then turns into the other one. But like they're so far apart, you've got to separate them. That's the only way I could do it. Yeah. Because then you've still got William Hartnell as a first Doctor. But again, even then, some people probably still wouldn't be happy.
Troughton, I do it before Troughton. This is all the other.
And this is the problem. This is a circle they've gotten themselves. I know we're wrapping up now, but it's like that's it. That's probably your cause for yourself when you can't. You don't introduce something as big as a whole. Again, this is the thing that annoyed me about the whole Ruth Doctor. You don't mess around with reincarnations and regenerations. You can't spare up a new Doctor
and then
Yeah.
try and pass it over. Oh no, she's just as much as the Doctor as Tom Baker. Well, she's obviously not. She spent more time as a human in disguise on Earth and a few holographic appearances, and you're saying that she's just as much as the Doctor as anyone else. I mean, I'm going to take that a little bit.
But that's
I'm
the
gonna find
thing.
that a
You're
bit
not going
hard
to
to
sell
believe.
that to the
And if you can't figure out whether she's the Thor
audience.
Hartnell after Trout, and if they don't even know where she fits on the timeline.
No, but you're not going to
Seriously,
sell that to Doctor Who. That's the thing, though, and this is the mistake they've made. You can't sell that to the Doctor Who fandom. You might be able to sell that to the mainstream or the casual viewer, but to the Doctor Who fans, the audience that have stayed loyal with the show all of these years, you're not going to convince them of that. And if you're going to do something that big, according to us fans, you have to do it with care and respect, and you have to do it properly. None of that has transpired. So, look, we'll see what happens. We'll have this. We'll pick this conversation up again next week. I have liked this, so I'll call it Doctor Who. I don't know. We'll think of some. Maybe the lads will be able to come up with a nice little title for the video or for the stream next week. But we'll continue this conversation because this has been good, because people in the chat have been getting involved as well and giving their opinions on what they believe, what the show should look like, or the way the Doctor should be.
Analysis of like what the Doctor can and
we're breaking down the character as well. We're breaking down the different characteristics of the show as well. I think this is good. So we'll keep this series of streams up. We'll go again next week on this particular topic. But what I'll do is I'll get the lads now to do their channel shout outs, and OPD will be putting links in the chat. So if you haven't subscribed, please do. And don't forget to see if you're still subscribed to me, because YouTube has done their monthly purge. So just make sure that you're still subscribed, and go and subscribe to all of the other channels that PD puts in. We will listen. We're getting into that spin off as well. We'll talk about that as well when the time comes. But PD, I'll start with you with the channel shout outs. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm not back with Rabbi now. We just did a stream this afternoon about the election and all. Just got it all off our chest. Go and check it out, and he'll be back tomorrow with a live stream, and I'll be with him.
Fantastic. I'll have to touch base with Rabbi.
Also check out Gobby as well. Gobby is going from leaps to bounds in a brilliant stream the other day, a live one.
Yeah, he's doing. Listen, I've been watching what he's been doing. Yeah. I'm glad he's gone down the political route. To be quite honest with you, he'd know more, obviously, because he served as well, served your country with distinction. So, to see him do this and to get the reaction that he's gotten, and not just from people in the UK, but from all over the world. Same with me on my channel. I've got to say, I do be humbled by the amount of support that we've gotten. I've got 9,000 subscribers on one channel, and the other channel's just gone over 1,000 subscribers now, the one where I bring people on and talk and get things off my chest. But the political arena right now is hot, and lots of us have got involved. But I'm out there. I'm actually on the streets. I've even gotten arrested for me trouble, as you all know.
I don't know Charlie Downs what happened.
Well, nothing happened. No charges on here. I'm talking to you now. But with these new hate speech legislation that's come in, I could be in prison. So you never know. There might be a Tarzan live from a prison, from a smuggled mobile phone.
Make it look good, though.
But no, in all fairness to everybody out there that's streaming and doing their thing, no matter what you do, you should be proud of yourselves. It's not easy getting, especially if you're in front of a camera, but it's not easy to come on stream and talk. And, some people start off shy, but then, like Cinnamon, he started off all shy. Now look at him, can't shut him fucking up, just like me.
I know, he's like 2.0, isn't he?
I fucking love it. That's what I love, man. I know. That's what I love. It's lovely to see people like that grow, though. Same with Jordan Jack Rabbits, who you just put his channel in there as well. He used to be very shy when he first started as well. Daniel, me, it's hard to believe, but me, I was kind of shy when I first started. But it is great to see the growth in people, and Cinnamon is doing some fucking cracking streams as well, and I'm glad he's gotten into those little gaming streams as well, because they can be very relaxing. I did the Red Dead Redemption 2 playthrough myself actually. It's a fucking brilliant game, but I'm not messing. Go and check out that fucking Uncharted game series. If you like a good story, you will like the Uncharted games. Anyway, so PD, back to you, just in case you want to shout out any other people there real quickly before I go to cinema.
I think you shout out the ones I wanted, so there we go. Those three, especially Daniel as well. We're all
Okay.
going forward.
Oh yeah, we've got the Nerdaholics in the chat, and we've got Neurotics channel as well, Gary. We still give Gary an old plug here. I haven't heard from Gary in a while, but look, in fairness, Gary is busy, and I'm not saying
very busy. Yeah, with this,
you know, look, he's doing great things. It was always going to happen. Yeah. Sometimes it's hard to maintain these friendships over a long period of time because of what we do. I do hope one day to go over to America when he does hold one of these events and meet him and shake his fucking hand, because he is one of the people that has helped my channel, as you know, and I always give him kudos for that. So I don't have any, you know, any hesitation in saying, you know, I still support Gary. You know, he popped in, I think, last year. Do you remember he popped in out of the blue? So he does pop in the odd time. But if you are listening, Gary, we do miss you. I've got to be honest, I miss all the old streams as well. I think we all do. But hopefully, maybe one day we can all get together and stream again like we used to do in the old days. But I know people go down different paths, and people, you know, have different levels of success. And let's be honest here, Gary's fucking trajectory since we've known him has just been on the up. And
like Elon Musk's rocket, mate. Like Elon Musk's rocket.
Yeah. So if anybody deserves it, it's him. I mightn't always agree with people that he's brought on and stuff like that, but Gary himself, I'm delighted for, and his family, because I know how much the channel and everything that he does means to him and his family. So kudos for that. And of course, Chris Ballstreck, I just want to give him a special mention as well. Yeah, he's grand. He actually commented on one of me posts last night. He keeps in touch. Puts his photographs up. He's just busy. Like everybody else, he's just super busy at the moment. He's back in work. You know yourself, Canada is fucking being choked, and he's working like 70, 80 odd hours for pittance. So he's fucking, you know yourself. But Cinnamon, go on, do your channel shout out there, mate. I'm going to shut up now because I have to wrap up. She's fucking asking me, like, she should have been home 15 minutes ago. She's waiting for me to finish up. So go ahead.
Well, I'll try and keep it brief, but yeah, like Noel's just mentioned there, I've got the gaming streams going at the minute. We're currently doing Dead Rising. That's good, a really good one there. I think I am going to do all sorts of varied content, but it's like all the Doctor Who stuff is a bit quiet on the channel. I haven't really done a Doctor Who related video for a while because it's just quiet, and it's just no point even really mentioning it because it's just so quiet. You know, the interest for the Christmas special it's nothing really. But yeah, we'll do all sorts. It'll be all sorts of things to come in the future on the channel. I'm bursting with ideas really, so it's I'm getting better with all the recording equipment and making the thumbnails. It's all getting really, I'm all really getting really. So it's fun to do it. It's that's what it's supposed to be. It's fun. I'm not doing it to monetize it. That's why I'm not bothered about all the copyright claims, because I keep getting copyright claimed because of the music in the games. But it's okay because as long as it's not a copyright strike, it's fine. Because I'm not interested in making money. It's a hobby. It's a side interest. That's all it is. So they can claim all they want. But yeah, that's your thing if you want to experience.
Actually, you know what you can do though, because sometimes some of you, because I have to say this because you are gaming. So just because I've done it quite a lot, played at different games, as you know, because you've even been in the live chat when I've been doing some gaming streams. But there is one way to eliminate or to stop that from happening all the time, because it can get a pain in the arse, and then some of your streams can be blocked in certain territories if there's music that's not allowed in that country. But go into the settings. And you can knock the game music off.
Yeah, you can, yeah, but I really do prefer to show it, because if I was to do GTA or something one day, it just feels weird. I feel like I'd want to have the music on.
I agree with you with GTA. You have to have the music in the background, driving the cars and all, don't you? You do, yeah.
But otherwise it's just weird. But like I say, I'm not monetizing the channel anyway, so it shouldn't matter.
Like I say, it's copyright strikes that are the big issue. So as long as they don't do anything massively a problem, they can claim the music all they want. It's their music. I'm not asked about that because, like I say, it's just a hobby, and that's all YouTube really should be. I think. Well, unless you take it really seriously and you make a living out of it, then of course, then you have to really adhere to the rules. But yeah, anyway, to keep it brief, we're doing gaming streams at the minute, but there'll be plenty of unboxings, discussions. I might do another one of them Crunchcast little streams I was doing. I was doing that with Charlotte and PD. I quite enjoyed them as well, just talking about similar stuff, really, all sorts. So maybe we can try and arrange to do one of them at some point.
Yeah,
Fantastic. Listen, tune into all of those channels, guys. We'll keep you entertained anyway. And listen, the next 4 years is going to be an absolute shit show from the other side. So you are going to need a bit of a break from all of their stupidity. So don't forget to tune into all of our channels and all the other channels mentioned there to keep you entertained over these next few years. Of course, you can catch me here on the TARDIS. I know I've been, not streaming as much. I keep making excuses, but honestly, something just keeps popping up all the time. So I'm not going to make any promises, but I will be back at some stage before the end of the weekend. I can guarantee that, right? But I'm not going to say when because I don't know when, and I'm just going to be honest with you, which is now. It's just everything's just gotten on top of me with the success of the other channels as well, and the fact that I'm constantly on the fucking phone. I'm constantly answering messages.
Yeah.
I'm getting asked to fucking edit videos for people. I'm fucking doing my own thing as well, trying to get live streams out there as well. But it's good that I'm keeping busy because I'm going to be busy over the next 4 years anyway, because as you know, yourselves and I have mentioned, I may be going down the political route myself and entering politics, which is something that I never thought I would do, but it looks like it might be happening. So I'll keep you informed on that. But I am trying my best, folks. So I'm going to try get as many streams out on this channel as I can. Just bear with me. And I know you have been very patient so far, and you have been very understanding on this channel. That's why I love this channel, and it still is my favorite. Right? This is me baby. I've always said it. This channel is me baby. It means the world to me, and I mean that. We've been on this channel a long time. I've put blood, sweat, and fucking tears into this fucking channel, as you know. So this is me baby. I'm not going anywhere. I just want to make that clear. It's just I'm just a little bit busier than I was in the previous years that I've been running this channel. Circumstances have changed, of course, because of the political climate. But you can catch me on the Irish Zone if you want to listen to me talk about political stuff. Well, actually, you will see me there. That's where the live streams are. But if you want to hear where I talk about the political stuff, then go and check out the Irish Zone. Get it off your chest. That's the second channel. And that's where I speak and bring people on and guests and all sorts. Goes on, all sorts of shenanigans goes on that channel. So that's where you can catch me there. Doing live streams, the Irish Zone, get it off your chest. So if you haven't subscribed and you'd like to hear about me talk about politics and obviously Irish people out there, and we do have people from the UK on. We've had people as far as Australia and America on the channel as well, talking. I've also had a couple of people that have been that ran in the local and European elections. I did some high profile interviews as well with party leaders and stuff like that. So we really do get involved in everything. And as I said, I'm on the ground all the time with my fellow Irish patriots who are fighting for their country, just like the MAGA people did in America. And this is the message that I'll leave you with tonight. Look at what's happened in the United States. Look at what happened the previous 8 years, or how they tried to take this man down, all the stuff, the rhetoric that they came out with, and he prevailed and he won by a landslide. If that doesn't give other countries and people hope in other countries, I don't know what will. But we've got a general election coming up in Ireland. And I will say to all nationalists out there and everybody that cares about your country, your vote still does matter. Your vote does count. And the reason why we know that is because we've seen democracy at work in the United States of America last night, and President Donald Trump was elected the 47th president of the United States. And that should give us all hope for the future. And it should give you people in the UK hope that you can get out of the slump that you are in because of the mistake that the majority of your people made by voting in the Labour Party. But you have hope, and don't give up that hope. And to every other person in every other country that feels hopeless right now, just turn and look at what's happened in America. There is a brighter future for us all. Right, the left will be defeated, folks. We will defeat this evil that has infected all of our countries and all of our lives. It will be defeated. It will take time. We will get there. It will be baby steps. But if America can do it, and the American people can be brave enough to vote this man in and give him a chance to make America great again, then we can be as brave as them and do the same thing for our countries. So keep that in mind. Remember to keep our families together, keep yourselves safe, more importantly, because we're living in a very dangerous world. And I will talk to you all very, very soon. And thank you from the bottom of your heart on all 3 channels that you follow me on. I want to thank you all for the support over these last few years. It has meant the absolute world to me. You keep me going, I have to say. And I really appreciate that. But we're at the home straight now. Okay, we have shown that change is possible. So believe that, and it will happen, folks. And if you have an opportunity to vote in a general election, get out there and vote. Make a fucking difference. Your vote can still count. Remember that. Good night, folks. God bless you all, and I'll talk to you very soon. And God bless Donald Trump and the United States of America.
Amen to that, Noel. Amen to that.
Amen.
Bye-bye.
Later.
Bye.